A high-value woman is a traditional woman who has good religious values, virgin, not fat, that will not be a headache to any man. Men do not care about your college education, your travels, or exes. That's facts. That's facts. Facts? Does anyone disagree with that?
I kind of do, because,
okay.
I mean, like, if it doesn't matter about your college degree or anything, then are you just picking a woman because she's pretty? Like, do you not... Like, this is the woman that's going to be raising your kids, and you're saying a college degree isn't important? What is...
Not important at all.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily correlate to her ability to be a wife or a mother.
But what I'm just trying to kind of get at was mainly just like education in general, like in life skills. You know, you're saying a high value woman is just going to do whatever you say, but if someone's agreeing with you, where is it?
Unless she got a degree from How to Be a Wife University.
Well, if she's just agreeing with everything, then you have no growth either.
No, well, first off, like, some of the most stupid and brain dead people have college degrees. Mm-hmm. Like, just because you were able to sit there and basically, college is a 5-figure. You basically want somebody to read to you. Like, congratulations, you're able to be a cog in the machine and complete the tasks. I don't think college is really pumping out anything really spectacular intellectually. So
yeah, kind of where
unless
I was like
STEM.
Going with that was more on like education on like how to do real life things
in college.
No, sorry.
Wait,
just what I took away from him basically saying college degree was like kind of an education.
Well, I mean, essentially what he was saying was, if you ask women what do men when you ask women what they bring to the table, they often say college education. I'm educated. Yeah. So what he's saying is men don't care about that, and it's not that we don't care, but that's not our that's not our preference. Like, we don't value that. If there's a hierarchy of things that we value in women, college education is not going to be at the top. We have a preference for youth and beauty, how kind you are, how feminine you are, like things that actually make you enjoyable to be around, and a mentality and an attitude that can raise our kids. That's what we value more than the college education.
This is very true. But how are like looks and femininity and all of that going to actually raise your kids?
That's attraction. You got to create them.
That's what starts your connection.
Yeah.
How is your degree in... What's a fucking bullshit degree that people have?
Women's studies? Women's studies? Women's studies.
In feminism, how's that going to help you raise your children? Congrats, you have a bachelor's in feminist studies.
I mean, shoot, do you learn a little bit of history in that?
You learn false history and bullshit and man-hating.
Well,
actually, I would argue that if your college degree is in feminist studies, that makes you... You should be barred from having children and families, because if you birth a son, you're going to hate your son. If you have a husband, you're going to hate your husband. So no, I don't think and also the reality is, I think in a lot of universities, I think it's a requirement, it might be, I don't know. Do you have to take any like sociology or feminist studies classes as general education?
Sociology.
Yeah, you got to take sociology.
Not necessarily feminism, but I feel like you can like pick too, like what you want to take.
Congratulations, you've just learned how to hate men. Cool.
Essentially, yeah.
Basically.
That's what that is. I think that...
all these college institutions are just churning out man-hating women, basically. That's what they are. They're indoctrination factories. Believe this. 99% of my professors are probably liberal. Okay, I'm going to believe the main storyline, and I also believe in feminism, and men are terrible, and men are oppressors, even though 60% of college graduates are women, and women don't have any opportunities, and there's male privilege, even though I'm more educated than my male counterparts. So, hello? Sorry, I'm just ranting there.
Facts. It's facts.
That's true.
I agree too.
What do you disagree with on that?
Just the fact that
what do you disagree with what he said?
That colleges are teaching that now
they are.
Instead of like actual science.
Well, most women don't major in STEM. They don't major in any of the sciences. Those are predominantly still men. Most of the nursing, education, the feminine studies, all of those liberal arts, those are predominantly women. Women are getting degrees mostly in those fields. Nursing is probably the most useful field that most women get degrees in.
Your college education does not make you more attractive.
I think college or not, I feel like everyone's attracted to education. Like even if it's not through college, just someone who has the same values and morals as you and the same ideas as you. Whether,
yeah, but
whether college has to do with it or not, you know.
And I had made a video. I had made a video talking about that. I said women who think men should value their education and their degrees. Why don't we take OnlyFans and we substitute it with degrees? We turn it into only degrees and see how much money women make by posting their degree ass white girl, woman with fat ass degree. Like why don't we take OnlyFans and substitute all the adult content that's posted on there with women posting their degrees and their education and their credentials and see how much money they make? That shows you what men value right there.
I think the guy's comment itself was just fucking stupid. Just the traditional wife is a virgin and yeah, the traditional wife being a virgin and things like that. Like automatically, if you want your partner to be a virgin and you're not, like,
I think that
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think people just have their own definitions.
What's wrong with wanting a virgin?
Why is that like the perfect girl?
Why is that the perfect
Because she
girl?
hasn't been sexually conquered by anybody yet.
So fucking stupid.
It's what men are attracted to.
Actually, yes, Nick. I think we have those already pulled up. I mean, look, it's one. There's hold on, Nick. Hold on. I mean, one, STD risk. So a woman who's a virgin, like absent her getting something from her mother in childbirth, very unlikely to have an STD.
Get
a woman
tested.
who's okay, cool. You get tested. You have herpes. Congratulations.
Don't be with them then.
Wait, what? But okay, if you're promiscuous, if you sleep with a lot of people, then the likelihood of you having a sexually transmitted disease is higher.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes they're asymptomatic, and you can pass it along to your partner. The other thing is when women have had a lot of sexual partners, their ability to pair bond with future partners is greatly diminished. The likelihood of infidelity is much higher. The likelihood of reporting relationship and marriage dissatisfaction is much higher. What else? There's the likelihood of divorce is much higher, and they've done studies on this. And also, like men the women value experience, whereas as a guy, women like men who are leaders. As a guy, if you have sexual experience, you will be able to have good sex with a woman who's a virgin. It's not clear to me if women seek out virgins, like, to have really good sex with.
They actually don't prefer that according to the research. And my last two girlfriends were both virgins. I'm not a virgin. I know how to date. I know how to fuck. So, but essentially, I turned them out. They imprinted on me. I liked making them like feel like they were mine. I became the standard of what they're used to. It's an ego stroke. It's an ego boost. I'm not gonna lie about that. I put it on her right. She be like, all I can think about is you. All I realize is you. You're the only thing I know. That's attractive to me. I like doing that. And I'm sure there are men who feel the same way. So of course it's an ego stroke. It's an ego boost. You got to it first, and they were my girlfriends. I made them my girlfriends. That's only fair. If you a virgin, I'm gonna make you my girlfriend. Like we can work towards something. Now I'm not like that. A woman doesn't have to be a virgin for me, but I don't want her to have been around the block. I don't want her to have had a whole bunch of casual sexual encounters.
And that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can totally have the preference of just like have a normal amount of partners. I don't know
but normal in today's day and age is like by the time she's 21, she's slept with 10 plus guys. So I don't want normal.
And she lost her virginity at 18.
Or younger.
Yeah.
Typically younger.
It honestly depends on the state and the area.
Yeah, I was going to say like 90% of the girls in my area.
In San Diego?
In my Vista area.
I don't...
It's in, yeah, that's a city in San Diego.
Okay. is what? They're just trad wives? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're
California is pretty degenerate when it comes to sex, so I'm assuming that, like, probably. Are you saying women in your area have a low body count in San Diego? San Diego is like super liberal progressive.
I don't know about that, but we aren't.
It's facts.
A lot of people
Madison's
aren't.
from. Wait, that's facts?
Yeah.
You're from San Diego? Okay.
Where are you from?
I'll tell you after.
Heard.
Also, men just biologically are attracted to women who are not promiscuous. So virgin is like the epitome of non-promiscuity. Do you disagree that men are not biologically attracted to non-promiscuous women?
I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it's definitely like a possible thing, but I've also met men that are.
Remember the
Yes.
conversation we had earlier when we were talking about sexual competition and how we evolved to be monogamous because of our polygamous past? So it speaks to that. So if men develop sperm competition, that means men were fucking the same woman all throughout our evolutionary history, and those men couldn't tell who the child's father was. Paternity uncertainty, which means one way to combat that is to simply have a virgin. But that's the scientific explanation for why we're repulsed by women who are promiscuous, because we have that same wiring in our brain that evolved, that was passed down. We have that same repulsivity, that same repugnance for a promiscuous woman, because it signals to us this woman could have us taking care of another man's child. And that's disrespectful to a man unknowingly for him to be taking care of another man's child.
It's not just disrespectful, it is the biggest L you can
it's
take.
betrayal. Yeah.
Like,
that's
to
total betrayal.
to think the child is yours, think you've passed on your genes, but in actuality, this chick is could essentially be stealing away your lineage. That's the biggest fucking L a guy can take in life, is raising a child that he thinks is his that actually isn't.
No
Doing
doubt.
everything he can to provide, protect, provision for a child that's not his.
So that's why
because
men
he
care
believes
more
it's
about
his.
this, because
No
as
doubt.
as women, if you have a kid, in all situations, you know the kid's yours.
Yeah.
It could be from this guy, from that guy, from this guy. You know with certainty it's yours, because that comes with the fact that you're the ones who actually birth the children.
Mm-hmm.
However, as guys, there's not really a way for us to 100% know
At all.
So one of the big ways we can look at that, and this is just in the same way that why are women attracted to tall guys? I mean, you like taller, bigger guys more capable of physically protecting you. A woman who's promiscuous is more likely to essentially be cucking you.
That's also why we get jealous as well. A lot of people think essentially jealousy is a byproduct of us deterring potential threats to our woman. We get jealous at any perceived threat because, of course, that raises the risk of you sleeping with him, getting pregnant by him, and then I'm raising another man's kid. So it's better to just deter that man through jealousy. If a woman knows her man is jealous, she's less inclined to cheat.
Not all the time, because I've have experiences where I had really jealous boyfriends and they cheated.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about why jealousy exists. It don't have to be all the time, but in general, like, this is what's been measured and this is what's been found scientifically. That's why jealous. That's why we get jealous, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.